Okay, over the past few days, I've been watching the events in Texas, that one river that overflows banks and washed away a handful of people from that one Christian, it's like a summer camp or something like that. They say like 700 people that attended, I think, so the vast majority of people were able to survive the flooding. Now, we're out here. I'll tell you what periodically will happen. Now, a lot of people will live out in the desert. There'll be these normally dry little washes and creek beds and stuff that sometimes we'll have a flash flood, and there will be suddenly water in there. People will cross there either not realizing there's water in there, or they say, it's just a little bit of water, but their vehicle will end up getting washed away. Now, if they're lucky, they'll get rescued by maybe a team in a raft, or maybe somebody will be able to pick them out with a helicopter or something if they're lucky. Now, Arizona has something called a stupid motorist law. Now, let's say you drive around the road closed sign, and you end up getting in trouble. They have to rescue you. They can charge you for the amount of money. I don't think it happens very often, but under Arizona stupid motorist law, if they can charge you for the amount of money that they spend rescuing you. Now, another thing that on rare occasion will happen. We got these, very steep river valleys, and sometimes people will camp down in these, real steep river valleys, when they're dry, and they'll wake up in the morning and there'll be a flash flood, upstream. They'll end up getting washed away. Sometimes they survive, sometimes they don't. That's just so they advise you not to. Well, they advise you not to cross streams when there's water in them. They advise you not to camp in the very steep river gorges. Now, there was a family about a year or so ago that had a pretty decent 4-wheel drive. They would cross these that normally drive. It just happened to have water in it. It was a pretty decent, like an old Army, like a 6x6 or something. Pretty decent vehicle. You had like 10 kids on there. This thing ended up getting flooded. So even if you got like a decent 6x6, that thing ended up getting flooded and washed away. And it killed like 2 or 3 of the kids. And these people, end up going to jail for manslaughter over. That's been a big news thing here in the Valley, for the past number of years. They say, turn around, don't drown. That's a common phrase that they use on the TV news. Now, the next thing I'm going to cover, there's on one of the local TV stations, this guy, he was this station's TV weather guy for quite a number of years. Now what he does now is review like bars, restaurants, a few other events. Might get towards the end of the day, but a few days ago, we was at this bar and restaurant that they would cook a regular hamburger, not pretty decent sized hamburger. They'd grind it up in a blender. They would mix it with, I covered that. They'd mix it with like vodka and bourbon, I think. I'm just trying to visualize what that's going to taste like. To me, that's just kind of a weird taste. I just can't quite visualize what that tastes. But today, it was at a local. This is Soretta Candies up on Glendale. Now, I've passed this place a million times. I never stopped in there. I'm pretty sure they got a retail sales outlet. But they had this little kid that had developed a new flavor. It was like pickle candy. And this was so funny. They're all tasting it. One guy gives a thumbs up. This little kid, I'd say maybe 4 or 5, he goes, "It tastes like pickle. I hate it." That was just so interesting. This little kid, little. Oh, the quote is Art Linkletter. Many, many years ago, Art Linkletter goes, "Kids say the darndest things. They don't really have the filter system that us adults do. They'll speak right off the top of their head." That was kind of interesting. "It tastes like pickle. I hate it." Okay, bye-bye.